I noticed something was off as soon as I stood in front of the building. It wasn't just the fact that it was an abandoned building, which in itself was unsettling, but there was something in the air. I stood there for a long time, watching the windows of the place. They seemed to move, like they were breathing. It wasn't just a trick of the light, because I was paying close attention. The windows would expand and then contract slowly, as if the building itself was alive. I felt my stomach twist and couldn't take my eyes off the building. It was like it was watching me, and that feeling made me even more uncomfortable. I tried to convince myself I was just imagining things, that it was just my mind filling in the emptiness of the abandoned place. But I felt the pulse of the building, like it had some strange, inexplicable force. The windows weren't perfect. Some were broken, others covered in a thick layer of dirt, but I could still see them moving. With every breath, they seemed to open a little wider, then close again like the building itself was breathing. I don't know if I can explain it right, but it felt so real that my entire body shuddered. What bothered me the most was the feeling that I wasn't alone. Everything around me was silent, but I couldn't shake the feeling that there was something else there. It wasn't just the usual eerie atmosphere of abandonment, but something more. Like something inside the building was waiting for me, watching every move I made. When I finally decided to take a few steps closer, my legs started shaking, and a cold wave of fear washed over me. The fear, that primal fear, was so strong that I almost went back to the car. But something kept pulling me back to the windows, which kept breathing. I moved a bit closer, and when I looked up at the windows, I felt a chill run down my spine. It wasn't just the wind or anything natural that could cause that. It wasn't an air movement. It was the windows moving on their own, and I was growing more and more certain of it. I didn't know what was happening, but I started to feel like the building was calling me in some way. Like it was drawing me into some kind of dark fate. I couldn't think clearly anymore, and all I wanted was to get out of there. But something kept me frozen in place. With my heart pounding, I finally took a bolder step. I moved toward the building's entrance, and as I looked up, the building seemed to grow larger in my vision. The windows were even farther away, and they began to expand and contract with even more intensity. I could no longer tell what was real and what was just happening in my head. I was starting to believe that the building had a presence of its own, an energy that couldn't be explained. That feeling of being watched was stronger than ever. I looked into the interior of the building, but all I could see were shadows. The darkness seemed to stretch out from the entrance, like something was waiting to reveal itself. My eyes widened when I saw that one of the windows on the upper floor suddenly opened right in front of me. There was no wind, nothing to explain it. Just the muffled sound of wood creaking and the window slowly opening on its own. The feeling that I was being drawn into the building grew even stronger. I didn't know what to do, but I knew I couldn't stay there any longer. I tried to take a few steps back, but fear seemed to paralyze me. The building wasn't just breathing anymore, it was alive. I don't know if that makes sense to you, but I felt like the place had something strange about it, something that didn't belong in reality. The air felt heavier, denser, and with every breath my chest tightened more. I couldn't control my anxiety, and the panic started growing inside me. I tried to come up with a rational explanation, but nothing made sense. Finally, I managed to pull myself away, but I couldn't stop looking at the building. It was still breathing, the windows still expanding and contracting like they were keeping some kind of rhythm. Deep down, I knew something terrible had happened there. I don't know what it was, but I was certain that the building wasn't just some abandoned place. It held secrets, and those secrets were being breathed in with it. What scared me even more was that, as I walked away, the windows kept moving, like they were still watching me. Like the building was still aware of my presence. With my heart racing, I got in my car and drove away. I was too shaken to even look back. I've never gone back to that place. I don't know what happened that day, and I don't even know if I want to. All I know is that feeling of the building breathing never left me. Even when I try to rationalize what happened, something inside me knows that it wasn't normal. The feeling of being watched stayed with me for days, and to this day, whenever I pass by that place, I feel that same chill in my spine, like the building is still waiting to call me back. I don't know what the building was trying to do, or what it wanted from me, but I know that something in that place wasn't right. Maybe I'll never have an explanation for it, but I can tell you that I'll never forget the day I faced the building that seemed to breathe.